Welcome to today's show where I am going to be talking Jurassic World. We have the Jurassic World sets, we have the Jurassic World dinos. And what's interesting about these sets is what is the most interesting part about them? Well, it often ends up being the dinosaur that is the most interesting part. And the sets sometimes are good, sometimes they are not so good. So on today's show, I'm going to be talking about the sets briefly. What do I like about them? And I'm going to spend more time on the dinos. What do I like about the dinos? And interestingly enough, they have a softer side. I'm going to show you the softer side of the dinos. And then lastly, we're going to go over what has happened with those 2015 Jurassic World sets. Does that give us a clue about what is going to happen with these in terms of long-term value? But first, let's go ahead and start off with the sets. There happen to be 11 of them this year. And that is a lot more than there were in the past, including the 3 juniors lines that you see in there. And I've put asterisks by the sets that are supposed to be store exclusives. Now, of course, with Toys R Us going out of business, the store exclusive has been all thrown out of whack. So some you'll be able to find, but those 3 may not be at the retailer that you happen to be looking at. Right out of the gate, which ones were the most popular? Well, in the first month of release, the Blues Helicopter Pursuit and the Carnotaurus Gyrosphere Escape were both sold out pretty quickly on Walmart. And then the Jurassic Park Velociraptor 20th Anniversary set was back-ordered pretty quickly at Lego Shop at Home. And this is again in the United States. Of course, they're all readily available now, but initially those were the 3 that seemed to have some limited availability. And you can see all the costs there running through all the price points from $20 all the way to $130 for the Indoraptor Rampage at Lockwood Estate. And how do those prices compare elsewhere in the world? Well, I'm going to throw up England, Germany, Australia, Canada, and the Netherlands. Why those 5? Because those are my 5 biggest watching audiences after the United States. Thank you very much for watching. And you can see the prices in their native currencies and the prices converted into US dollars at July exchange rates. You can see Canada way cheaper, US much cheaper than Europe and Australia. And of course the Netherlands always being the most expensive. Congratulations, guys. So there are your costs. But you do get a wide range all the way from, again, $20 up to $130 in the United States. So there is a wide range of stuff there. How long are you able to get these for? Well, if we look at the 2015 sets, you can see there, they lasted the traditional Lego time frame of about 2 years, retiring in the end of the year. Of course, you can see the Raptor Escape was quite a bit different. That took everyone by surprise. And with these, the European availability and the United States availability were vastly different by maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months. So in Europe, a lot of these retired in the middle of summer. So depending on where you are in the world, the availability of these may be quite a bit different. But in the United States, I would expect the end of 2019 till you can get them. So there's plenty of time to wait for them to get cheaper. And as you can see here, I have all the sets here. Well, not quite all of them. For whatever reason, I don't have the Juniors Pteranodon set. And if I don't have the Indoraptor set either because I haven't found that at 20% off yet. All the rest I've been able to get at discount. So you can see here they are. They're all unopened. And here, of course, are all the dinos. And I ended up thinking, well, I like the dinos probably more than the sets. So I ended up buying all of these guys off of BrickLink. Cost me about $150 for the dinos. And I don't quite have all of them. I don't have quite all of the Raptors. If I were to finish off the rest of the dinos, I would probably be pushing a little over $200 for the dinos. To buy all the sets at 20% off is going to run you $435 approximately. Retail up close to $550 if you were going to buy all of them. And it really is quite amazing that the dino portion value within those sets is almost 40% of the total cost of buying the sets. It just really shows you what the demand is for the dino figures themselves over the sets. And what are the best sets? What are the sets that I like the most out of this? Well, I really do like the T-Rex Transport. What I'm looking for in a set is a good dino that I like, plus some reasonable additional feature of a truck or a building or whatever. So at $70, this one seems pretty solid. I also like the Carnotaurus here, this Escape set, both because it has some interesting pieces, but at $80, maybe I would just buy the dino and skip the set, but I do like the dino in the set. Lastly, I do like the Stigamalak, I don't know if I'm pronouncing him right, set, just because it comes with a complete enclosure. It's only $30. It seems like a nice lower price point set for what you get. Because for a lot of these, even if the dino is cool, you don't get the complete set. You know, it's half a enclosure, or maybe this is a good scene, but again, it's part of an enclosure, and a lot of the attraction ends up being the dino. So I like those 3 sets as complete sets at a couple different price points. And what about the dinos? You can see here are all the dinos here. Conveniently, you can figure out which dinosaur is in which set because every set has the name of the dinosaur in that set. So that makes it easy to find them. The only set with 2 dinos in it is going to be the Indoraptor set with this guy because he comes with an extra blue raptor. So here you go. You see the dinos, and they're supposed to be ferocious. But they're not always so ferocious. T-Rex, yes, he may have a ferocious face, but when you really get to know him, I think he's really more like a clown. Or what about the Carnotaurus? Really, with those little tiny stubby arms, he is just embarrassed more than anything because he cannot even touch the ground. And Indoraptor, he is just a nervous wreck with those big hands pulling out all the hair on the top of his head. And the Stigamalak, no, worry wart, always worrying about her kids. And of course, Blue is a thinker. And the Dilophosaurus, talk about a pre-Madonna, completely blinged out. And then the Pteranodon, he's just grumpy because he can't move his head and he has those tiny little feet. And lastly, the little baby raptor, well, the little baby raptor just doesn't do much. So, as you can see, I think the dinosaurs are incredibly expressive. They're really fun things to play with, even though they are probably the most un-Lego-like Lego that you're going to get because they're all almost completely molded except for the studs that they have on their backs, and their feet do stick down as well, and their hands can grab, so they have a little bit of interaction that way. But really, when you look at these, if you were going to see these in the toy aisle and say, this set of stuff is going to cost you $150, you'd think you are nuts. You're out of your mind for how expensive this stuff is. But Lego does have the quality, has really, really great printing, and that's what these things go for. But how does it compare to what's happened in the past? Well, the most recent dinos in 2015 were King of the Dino here, the Indominus Rex here. And you can see he's the same body as the Carnotaurus, but with much bigger arms. And he's about the same size as some of these big guys. Always a very expensive dino coming in the $130 set. And so you can see he's about very similar in style to the current dinos. But what if we get to some older ones? So some of the first dinosaurs were out in 2005, and they look something like this, right? Talk about a big guy. Talk about un-Lego-like. Yes, he stands really tall, but his feet can't grab onto anything. His hands can't grab onto anything. All he has is 4 studs on his rump. His eyes do light up. You probably can't see it too bright. But so that's what you get in 2005. Something like that. Look how big he is. And then even in the Pteranodon, you can see the 2005 Pteranodon compared to the 2018 Pteranodon. Quite a bit different, but again, very un-Lego-like if you're going to call these guys, these completely molded figures, un-Lego-like. But that's what you had, big and ferocious, even more so back 15 years ago. And of course, if you're going to look at big figs, let's just look at one more. My favorite probably is Smog the dragon here. And you can see how big and long and skinny he is as a dragon compared to all of these guys. So that's sort of what you're getting in your big fig. Talk about an expensive fig, just like the Indominus Rex. This guy is expensive fig as well. So what do you think? Which is your favorite of these new dinosaurs? I think they're really high quality molded and printed pieces. But speaking of the past, let's go ahead and look at what about some of those old sets. What about some of those 2015 sets? What have they done? So let's go ahead and take a look there. You can see that all of them have done amazing things, from Pteranodon capture all the way down to Indominus Rex and the Raptor Escape. Of course, the Raptor Escape is the biggest percentage increaser in value, mainly because it retired unexpectedly, and so it had very limited availability compared to the other sets. But all of them coming off of that eBay data, again from July. By the time you're watching this, those things could be inaccurate. It could have gone way up again, gone way down again. I know right before I recorded this on Amazon, Indominus Rex were going for like $400. And you can see all of them did really well. They're still doing really well. Will they maintain those high values? I don't know. The new movie has really pumped up the value of those old 2015 sets. But what about the dinos themselves? Because to save space, right? If you're low on space, maybe you're just going to buy the dino instead of the entire set. Because what's nice about these dinos is they come and you can buy them new in these packages. Now, I know this isn't a dino, this is a Rancor, but the same idea. These big figs come packaged in a very easy to store, nice new bag. So all of these you can get, and just maybe you just want to buy these guys. How have just the figures done from 2015? So let's take a look at that, and that's going to be off of BrickLink. I'm getting the data that's much easier to do figure data off of BrickLink. So BrickLink in July, you can see what happened, and unfortunately for some of those figures, the Pteranodon and the T-Rex, is that those figures were re-released in the Juniors set of 2018. So those, of course, those prices completely crashed. And you can see the other prices in there for some of the figures. Mainly the Indominus Rex and the Raptor Escape figures have been extremely valuable. And buying just those new maybe would have been a better space use than buying the entire set. So what's going to happen with these figures? Which one do I like the best? Well, I mean, these guys are nice. They're small. I really like the Carnotaurus. Maybe the Indoraptor. Who knows? The T-Rex, I'm sort of lukewarm on, just because I'm a little concerned that they are re-releasing T-Rexes. A lot of them are just small color variations. I really think what's cool are completely new, different dinosaurs, like the Carnotaurus, the Indoraptor, and the Stygomoloch set. Again, and then for the sets themselves, price is going to be key if you're buying these to invest, buying them to collect. I think they will hold their value. I think they will probably do well. I know a lot of people think lightning won't strike twice. These won't do crazy things like the 2015 ones did, but I think it's possible that they will do just as well, especially if you find some of the ones that maybe people aren't paying attention to quite as much as the others, because I think a lot of it is availability as much as desirability can cause these sets to spike. I mean, the Pteranodon capture from 2015 on Amazon just last week, so in the beginning of August, $100 for what you get. It's virtually exactly the same as this. Who can figure what people are willing to pay? Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, Lego on!